I spent a lot of my time watching the political debates and noticing how in the middle of the debates they were able to get instant feedback. They had the cool little dials. Frank Luntz was there. You'd turn it up or turn it down. If you liked it, you went thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you went thumbs down. Well, St. Andrew's Press doesn't have one of those. Can you believe they don't have one of those dials with all this cool stuff? I kept thinking, what is Sean Riley doing here? But one of the parts that I wanted to do is we're going to try our own low-tech version of it. And I'm going to lead you through this today. By the time we're done, we're going to get a bunch of feedback that's going to help us in our work for you, and you're going to help us to do so. So let me tee this up, and then I'll take you through the feedback. So first of all, what I want you to know is to remember what we started with. We were told to find and articulate a vision for the presbytery's next decade. Then to review and look at all of our goals and priorities according to that vision, and then reshape the presbytery so it would be consistent with that vision, and then engage the presbytery in figuring out how to embrace that vision. And that's some of what we're doing today. What we found, and want you to know, is that we have a pretty good vision. If you go to our Los Ranchos Presbytery website and look at our vision statement, it's all the stuff that we love. It's about having a passion for Jesus, it's about making discipleship, and it's about doing missional work. What Steve just described to some of you, maybe for the very first time, has been the vision statement of this presbytery as long as I've been here, almost 12 years. We have been committed to being a missional, disciple-making, countercultural, stand for Christ in the middle of the culture presbytery for over a decade at least. So that ain't the problem. We started believing that what some of we need to do is instead was to refocus and align our vision toward that, to articulate a mission statement that will keep our focus on the things that we have already affirmed. And so that's exactly the place that we're heading as we start to roll out a design for you in the coming months. In January, at the Presbytery meeting, we're going to lay out all the foundations and assumptions, all the philosophy, all of the things we can discuss that are behind it. At the Refresh and Renew event, we're going to lay out the whole design. And then we'll have all of February and March and April and most of May to discuss and work over that design together before we come to the May Presbytery meeting. So we've been in this for a while, and this is exactly what we continue to do. So this afternoon, you guys it's your turn. I get to be Frank Luntz, and you get to be the people with the dials, okay? But instead of using dials, we're going to use pencils and papers. Presbyterians, I wish I had like a flannel board or something. That would probably work better, but I don't. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put on the board, I'm going to ask you on your piece of paper if you will just write down if you are an elder or a pastor. Okay, just on the top of the paper sometime, just write elder or pastor. If you're a candidate, put down pastor. If you are not, then you're here because, I don't know, you like these things, put down elder. The other thing is, if you would please put down if you are over 50 or under 50. And the reason for that is because we're going to have a lot of data to divide up, and I decided that Keith's going to look at all the stuff for people over 50, and I'll look at all of the people who are under 50. So if you would just give me your age, okay? So pastor, elder, over 50, under 50 on the top of your paper. You don't have to give me your name or church you're from or anything else. That's it, okay? All right. If you don't have one, because it looks like we may have run out, and if you have a piece of paper, you can just make a number 1 to 8, and because we're going to do 8 slides. There might be a few extras, so we're getting some around, okay? If you just got 1 to 8, that'll help. And if you're, don't want to do it, it's okay. It's America. Okay. Here's the method to the madness. There's 4 symbols that I'm going to ask you to look at. Basically, look at the first 3. You'll notice at the end of each slide, all I want you to do is circle one of the symbols. If you say, this is exciting, I love this stuff. This stuff, I stay up at night thinking about this stuff. Circle the exclamation part. If this irks you or bugs you in any way, if you listen to this and you think, I don't even know why, but this stuff bugs me, then this is the face my daughter makes when I make her eat vegetables. Just circle this one, okay? And if you listen to this and you just scratch your head and think, missional? Wow, what do they mean by that? Just circle the question mark, and if you know the question it raises, then in the note, then something below it, just write something below it. Like, what does that mean, or what do you mean, or just give us an idea. at the end of it, one of the things I want you to think about is that for some of you, at each slide, you're immediately going to look at and say, this is going to require us to change. And if you think you know what it is, write it down. Just write down. This is what we'll have to change. We'll have to make sure we never meet around tables again. Whatever. Like, you just have to write it down. So just all we're looking for is initial responses, a couple of words. Please, you don't have to write a statement of faith. Just circle things, write them down. Okay? All right, so here we go. 8 slides. We're going to do it in 8 minutes. It's going to be this is dial time. Ready? Here we go. First of all, the purpose of the Odyssey Group is to align and refocus the Los Ranchos Presbytery for greater missional effectiveness in a post-Christendom world. That's what Steve was just trying to explain. We're going to make everything in this presbytery about our being missionally effective, about being a presbytery where we together carry out the mission of Jesus as the central operating principle of every congregation and all that we do. If it excites you, exclamation part. If it bugs you, the other one, grumpy face, questions, question mark. And if you think you got an idea of what it means we're going to have to change, write it down.
You can circle more than one.
You can circle more than one. Okay, you can circle as many as you want. If it excites you and bugs you and you have questions, great. That's probably means you're the head of staff. Okay. So all right. Circle more than one. If you have any notes, any jots, any words you want to put here. I hate missional. It's trendy. I love missional. My dog, name my dog Daryl Gooder. I don't care. Whatever it is. Okay? All right. Number 2. The presbytery exists to further the missional effectiveness of our congregations within our geographic region. To put it this way, the congregations are the customer of the presbytery. We're about congregations being more and more effective. The presbytery is here to serve the congregations. The congregations are what matter. If we want to look and say, are we a successful presbytery? We're not going to say, boy, we had the best dinners or we got the best conferences. We're going to say, we got congregations that are living out the mission of the kingdom. It's about the congregations. Excites me, irks me, raises questions. This is how we change. Number 3. We build on relationships and networks. In our presbytery, our relationships, our formal partnerships, and informal networks are our most potent resources for missional effectiveness. If we're going to be effective, we need to build on the relationships we have, the formal and informal partnerships we have in ministry together. It all begins and continues to be built upon our relationships, our partnerships, and our networks. Excites you? Irks you? Raises questions? This is how we change. An aha moment.